Hello guys, let's do a quick one today. Today we'll be looking at summarization, both auto and manual summarization in EIGRP. You should be familiar with this topology on the right. I've used it before in my video. We're just going to summarize some routes. We're going to do manual and we're going to do auto. We'll see how it works. So let me show you what routes we'll be summarizing. And the HQ router, let's see the networks that we have in there. Sorry. So the loopback interfaces will be doing summarization for this route. If we check like on this router, a little bit background, EIGRP is running on everything and every router should have all of this route. Let's check the Belgium router. Show IP routes EIGRP. Looks like there's auto summarization going on here. So let me remove this auto summarization. Router EIGRP 100 no auto. When I check again, we should see all the subnets. Now, there you go. You see, these are the 100 subnets, and these are the 5 subnets for all the loopback interfaces on from the HQ router. Everything was learned from fast performance 00 of the Belgium router. So to start with, let's do the manual summarization. Okay, let's do the auto summarization and then manual summarization, because manual summarization is actually fun and very useful in production networks. Auto summarization, you want to stay away from it because it's not good if you have like discontiguous network. Um, uh, Hopefully you know what that means. If you don't, you can easily Google it. It's just like you have network of the same class 4 using the same class 4 network, but there is another class network segmenting those networks. So I don't know how else to explain it. Say we have this router, another one, another one. Let's do this. And router here. So I'm just gonna do a quick connection. Right here. Let's do Ethernet. So let's say no. Let's say this is 10.10.0/30. This is this is 10.10.0/30, and this is 172.16. So if you have EIGRP running on this router and router R4, if you have auto summarization on router R4, it's gonna summarize the routes, both route into 10.0.0.0/8. This is what router R2 is gonna have in the routing table for this guy and for this guy. So if you try to establish a connection to say router R3, the router is just gonna have this route and send it to this router, and I think there should be one more router. So I guess you understand what I'm saying now. Like this router, so the situation would be this router would have 10.h. Yeah, router R4 will have 10.h learned from somewhere, and if it needs to get packet to router 3 or router R1, it wouldn't know which one the packet is actually for, because he has a summary route of 10.0.0.8. So I'm gonna be removing this because we don't need them. Yes, thank you. Okay, so let's do the auto summary. Like, let's check the Canada and show IP route EIGRP. As you can see, we have all the loopback interfaces. Each subnet not summarized. So let's see when we summarized router. One thing you need to note though is the auto summarization is configured under the routing process, while the manual summarization is an interface level configuration command. So router EIGRP 100 auto summary. So if you do this, you see, as you can see, it's gonna tear up the adjacency and then do a resync. It will tell you that the summary is up and will reestablish the neighbor relationship. So now if we check the route, the routing table should be fairly short. So now you see this is summarized to /8 network, which is the class for 5.anything network, and also this is summarized to /8 networks. So that's it for auto summary. Very simple. Auto summarization, very simple. If we check here, it's gonna be the same thing. It's also summarized here, if you can see, and it's not like the routes are no longer present in the HQ router. If you check the interface, all the network are still there. It's just summarizing them and then advertising. So let's go. Sorry guys, let's get this looking now. See, the network is still there, individual networks are still there. It's just the summarization that shrinked the routing table. So one thing I would like to know is, show IP route EIGRP. I want to know if there will be no route, and there is. So for every route you summarize, the summarizing router is going to install a route to now 0 hopefully you know what that means. If you don't, zero is just like a pickpocket, like a trash, where it drop packets that to prevent loops. So as you can see, for this network and for this network, there's now zero. So to confirm that this is an effect of the summarization, let's remove the summarization and see if we will still see the no zero there. So now the EIGRP 100 no auto summary. So these guys should have the full routing table again. And as you can see, they're back. It is that easy to do auto summarization. Same thing with Canada. And just like every other router in this topology, they all have an EIGRP running, so you should have like all the routes if everything is fine. So let's do show IP route EIGRP, and we don't have any route, so now zero anymore. So that's one thing to keep in mind in case you see a route to now zero and you're wondering, I didn't put in this route in the router, so that is what happened. Now let's do manual summarization. This is fun because you will need a little bit of subnetting, IP address, knowledge to be able to do this effectively. So what I mean by that is, okay, let's do show interface grid. For example, let's summarize the 100 networks. So this network, you need to know the perfect, like if not perfect, like nearly perfect subnet prefix maps that would represent just these networks. You don't want it to be too big because when you don't have a network, or remember, there will be no zero. So if there's a valid route, say there's 100.9.0.0 network, and you have summarized everything, because you are not careful about choosing your prefix maps or your net mask, however you want to call it, any packet to 100.9 may be thrown into now zero if that route is unconsciously summarized into other networks that you are trying to summarize. So to summarize this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not gonna get into binary calculation here, but I do know that if I put this into binary, I'm gonna have like 5 zeros, and the remaining 3 would be representing 1 through 7. So that would be 5 plus 8 subnet for the network, so it would be 13. So a class 13 should accurately represent this network. So what I'm going to do for the manual summarization is go to the actual interface that I want to summarize. So for example, let's summarize that route. Like, it still has all the routes, all the networks here, right? So let's summarize everything for the Canary router. Because it's an interface level command, you have to do it for every interface that you want. So let's start with the Canada interface. So the interface that goes to Canada is F00. Interface F00. So we'll do IP summary address, EIGRP 100. Then the network would be 100.0.0.0/13, and that should be it. So now if we check if we check Belgium, all the routes should still be there because we didn't summarize the routes to Belgium. Voila, all of them are still there. And if we check California or Canada now, the Android route should be summarized. And there we go. It is summarized to /13, which only represents. So if I have another network that says 100.9, that would not be included in my manual summarization, and every packet or every communication initiated to that um, network would be fine and successful, considering that every other thing is fine on the network. So there you go. That is manual summarization. The only tedious part about it is the subnetting, choosing the right prefix mask. Otherwise, it's just a line of command once you get it right, just like the auto summary. So, guys, I hope you learned something today. And if you like the video, I want more something like this, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any question, feel free to leave a comment, send me an email, whatever is comfortable for you. All right. See you next time. Thank you, guys.